Hello everybody and welcome back once again to the labs for this very brief addendum to our Endgame and Leftovers Module Spotlight. I said a couple times I would consider looking at automating the inscribers using Steve's Factory Manager, and I've done that a little bit, and I just figured I'd give you guys a look at what I'm doing here. So all I've done is I've set it up like I would be automating everything, but all I've really automated is I am getting a lot of frame skipping, and I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. So give me just 1 second. Close some of this extra junk that I don't need. Let's try and see. I think there's other things going on right now. I probably need to fix something else. But I've got these 5 inscribers set up because I, for one, like to have one inscriber for each process along the line of creating the 3 different processors from Applied Energistics 2. And the reason for that is these are so slow. Like, they're not the worst at speed in the world compared to different processing items, but this is literally as fast as they can go. There we go. That's one piece of the process. So it's not my most favorite method in the world to have these stay that slow. I really hope that at some point there's some way of upgrading them or creating a new way, maybe using the assembly table or something, using a mod to create these chipsets in different ways. But for now, I usually set up one for each process so that I can do as much of it as I can at one time. Still, I'm sharing one inscriber to finalize the process. However, everything is set up and ready and waiting for it. If you want this to go faster, you would need 1, 2, 3 inscribers per different kinds of chipsets to make this go as fast as it can, to have them create the processors in parallel to each other, or at the same time, sorry. So what I've done is I've created, and there is a way of doing this with really just one. I feel like if you just surround the inscriber with Steve's Factory Manager cables, you would be really well on your way to automating one of these to do everything you want just by sticking items into a chest. All I've done, and this is really ugly, this is really basic, and this is really not the most necessary way of doing this. However, it works, and it's actually how I would do it. It's a little tedious, but it will take care of everything and make it really bug-free. So if you haven't seen Steve's Factory Manager, this is not going to make a whole lot of sense to you, but I'm happy to spotlight that. That wouldn't be a module, that'd be one thing all in itself, because it's really, there's not a lot going on in it. But it's a really cool mod that lets you create these little programs to move items around in power and liquids and do different things in redstone signals. So what I've done, if you've seen this is going to make sense. If not, I'm sorry. I'll go over this again in more detail if you'd like me to. But I just created a trigger that will continually look in the chest, starting with our chest over here. I'm grabbing some silicon. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm doing this step by step. Trigger, grab silicon, put it in the right inscriber, pick it out of that, and move it to the end of the line. Then gold, grab that from the chest, output it to the right inscriber. Once that's done, pick it up and move it to the end of the line, and then pick up the final printed logic circuit and move it over. So that's all we've got going. I've also got, and the reason there's 2 extras here is actually right here, it picks up the redstone and moves it, and then it does the processor. So this is a fully automated way of doing the gold chipset, the logic processor, and you could easily expand this and probably do it in a lot of better ways. But if I take some silicon, which I forgot to put in my inventory, some redstone, some silicon, and some gold, it would continue to make the processors happen over here. The other reason I like to use 5 is I like to see it happen. All I've got going on here is them cooking up. They get picked up, moved over here, and they're cooking up now. It'll crunch it down into the correct processor. It's done one already. Then really all you got to do is add an input and an output and say, you're going to grab your inventory. For us, it's the last inscriber. They don't show up yet, but I'm sure they will. Grab the east side and go ahead and pick up the engineering, I believe it was. Was it engineering? I always get this wrong. No, it was not. Let's just grab processor and see. We're going to pick up the right one. Boom. done. Let's link these up and grab an inventory, output it to our chest, for example. Doesn't matter which direction, and whitelist our processor. Once again. Oh, if I could spell, it would have stayed. Okay. And now we'll have our processors in here. So it'll just chug along at this until it runs out of materials. Then you could have an import bus filter to just grab the 3 different kinds of processors, or an inventory pipe of some sort, even a Steve's factory pipe next to an interface. The other way of doing this would be to, well, that would actually chew up all your resources, so I'm not going to talk about that. But all this is the machine inventory manager, the inventory cables set on this with some power coming out across the back of them. Again, these machines need power. It can be hooked up to your applied Energistics cables or other things. But that's really all I wanted to show you about that. Sorry for the quality. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing a lot of frames for some reason, and I'll try and fix that up before the next spotlight. But that's a way you could expand that to add the diamond and the Cirrus Quartz ones really easily into the system. It will just work away until it's done. That is a way to use Steve's Factory Manager to automate that. It's a really, really powerful mod, and it will probably be what I'll do next time I play through. I'll set up Steve's Factory Manager to take care of this for me. And I might even do the 3 inscribers each. They're not that expensive, so we'll see what happens with that after I get that series going. All right, until next time, guys, take it easy.